Last October, so 2021, my wife and I bought this house on a 1 acre lot in Keller, Texas, in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Can't really tell from looking at the house, but on the inside there was a fire that burned out most of the attic and second floor. And so going in, we were expecting to possibly have to demolish the house, and we factored in demo costs when we made our offer. And then after closing, we did our due diligence and found that, the fire was obviously bad, but the worst part was really the basement. We tore out all the moldy drywall in the basement to get a good look at the foundation walls, and saw a ton of cracking that had happened over the 30 years that led to structural and water penetration issues. So ultimately, we were stuck with either putting a really expensive Band-Aid on the basement or just tearing it all down and starting from scratch. So my next step was to bust out my drone and fly around taking over 1,000 aerial pictures of our property. And then I brought these into some fancy software and used a process called photogrammetry to stitch together a 3D point cloud, which is basically just 36 million little colored points arranged in 3D space, as you can see here. And then I also sorted all of these points into different layers, such as vegetation or structures, or most importantly, the ground. And so I brought this point cloud into Revit, my architectural software, and used just the ground points to construct a topography model of our lot, which is different than a point cloud because now I can start moving around dirt, and Revit is smart enough to track the net cut and fill, so basically how much dirt I'm using. So in this next example, you can see, for instance, if we were to expand the garage in the basement a little bit and dig a hole for a small pool in the back, and then also cut into the side of that hill to add a guest house, then we could use all that dirt to add a big gradual slope down to the water instead of having to put in retaining walls, which in my opinion seems safer and easier. So as for the house itself, I'm not going to dig into our whole design process right now, but we play with a lot of different variations for what kind of house we might want to put on this lot. This is our current front runner you can see in the fly-through, and keep in mind that we're painting in broad strokes right now. We're not really focusing on detailing or finishing. We're just mainly thinking right now about layout and the shape of the house. So here you can see a level 1 floor plan that shows the north side has a dining room overlooking the water with the best view, and then my office is on the south, tucked away from everything. The second floor has 3 bedrooms plus kind of a common hangout area that overlooks the living room, and then on the basement we have storage, garage, and then that guest house that's underneath my office. So I gotta say that if it weren't for the giant hole that we're already gonna have in the ground because of the old house, I wouldn't even think about putting in a basement. But they made a lot of mistakes on the way they did it, and we're gonna have to really nail the basement execution if we want to roll with this kind of design. So where does that leave us today? Well, long story short, we're looking to break ground in spring of 2023, next year. And my wife and I have really enjoyed the design process on our own up to this point, but we also recognize that it's probably about time to seek the wisdom of a professional architect, and I have a few in mind to start with. So I really love to design and build beautiful things. I do this on the side with woodworking, and I do it for my job with pixels and code, and now apparently I want to do it with a house. So I don't do this professionally, but I have been learning a lot every single day, and I hope I can just keep learning and learning every day until, maybe in a year or two we'll have a nice house. So I'll let you know how that goes, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.